Hey everybody, in this tutorial we're going to create a virtual studio scene intro similar to the one that you see in front of you right here. We have this splash screen that we created in a separate tutorial called creating a title sequence for TV.
And welcome to Med Talk.
We have a nicely lit scene here with our hostess,
Christina McDonald.
There you go, Christina McDonald's
At
talking about a bunch of nonsense.
We explore all sorts of medical treatments from different areas of medicine for a variety of illnesses.
Some camera movement in just a moment,
in this episode, we're going to talk about THC, what it is, and how it may help with your condition.
That's actually a video layer, which we'll talk about in just a moment. So let's go ahead and to our projects here. I'm going to go to Virtual Studio Volume 1. This is a content pack you can find from the content store. I'm going to use this booth 01 as my base. So let's double click that. This is a separate project with its own lighting and everything, and I'm going to show you how to modify that right now. So this is pretty cool, but what I want to do is get rid of this little middle section here. So I'm going to press the Q hotkey, and that'll bring up my selection gizmo. I'm going to click and drag from the top right. Now keep that in mind, it's very important, from the top right. And everything that's encompassed by my yellow selection box, that will be selected. If it's not fully encompassed, like the ground, for example, it's not going to be selected. So if I want to delete this entire middle section, I can just do this. Again, click and drag from the top right, and press delete. And the ground remains, but everything else is gone. Alright, so now we have this cool looking backdrop with a Virtual Studio image on it, separated into three parts because these are actually separate meshes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my temporary medical folder here, and I've taken this stethoscope image and I've separated it into three sections, three equal sections in Photoshop, 1, 2, and 3 right here. I'm going to click and drag these into each individual section, and left clicking and dragging them and applying them to those faces, and that's pretty much all we've done right there. And what I'm going to do now is go to my scene manager, and you can see everything in our scene right here. This backdrop is full of a bunch of different items that we can move around. But just to make things easier to manage, I'm going to click and hold shift and select everything except for one item. And then I'm going to control click box to deselect it because that's actually the floor. And I'm going to go attach to, pick parents, and I'm going to pick this top item right here, and then we can twirl it up. And much simpler. So we have our floor and our display board. Alright, so let's take this display board, press the W hotkey, and control click and drag, and that's going to create an exact duplicate. And we can press the E hotkey to rotate it. Move her over here. I think that position should be okay. Let's move this one, maybe rotate it a little bit as well. Alright, so we're going to work with that. Now let's bring in our host, the hostess of the show. I'm going to go to my content tab, to my avatars, under custom. There's this nurse character. You can purchase the nurse garb from our developer Ali in the marketplace and or content store. You probably would want to purchase both. But let's have our character face the right direction first. So we've imported her in over there. I'm going to press the E hotkey and spin her around with a little spinorama. And I want her to face the direction that she's going to be walking. Right off the bat. So let's rotate her a little bit like this. And you can see, yeah, she's pretty much perpendicular or parallel to that line that we want to get to the corner there. And then I'm going to go to our motion tab, and I'm going to go to the Mix Moves female pack right here. And also purchase this from the content store. And there is a walking motion, a root walking motion that I'm going to apply to our character. Let's go ahead and do that. And she'll walk forward with purpose and style. Alright, so then we have her walking up to that point and stopping there. And what I want her to do here is just do a little bit of talking gestures. So let's go to our Heidi, G6 Motion Heidi, and under Heidi's Perform, everyone should have this with iClone 6. Let's go to, there's a talking one somewhere here, stand talk, there we go. Just double click that and apply it. And our character will begin to talk. Alright, so we have her walking up like this, and you can see we've actually created some animation inadvertently there because I have a camera. I'm going to go to my preview camera. We're not going to do the camera animation yet. I'm going to delete all the cameras in the scene actually. Hold shift and select them all and delete those, and we'll just move to somewhere around here. And move forward until our character begins to talk, okay? So she reaches this point and then she begins to talk. Now, what I want to do here as well is I'm going to go to the Render tab. I'm going to render video, and we'll change our frame size to 720p. Because what I want to do now is import in my video intro splash screen there. the Med Talk one. So let's go to Alt-Tab over to Temp Med, and we have this title video effect. I'm going to simply, at frame 1 here, I'm going to right-click and drag this into my scene, import it as an image layer. And it's going to be like a gray background, so let's just go ahead and stretch that out. Again, we've exported this as 1280 by 720, so it's going to basically be taking up the entire screen there. And important here, at that frame, we want to go to our Modify tab, to Materials, and import in the opacity channel at the same frame. Okay, so that's very important. Where is it here? We have the title bit effect, title bit alpha. There we go. Okay, so now we should have something like this. Med Talk with Christine McDonald. And then she'll begin talking. Okay, so when that splash screen goes away, that's where we want her to begin talking. Okay, so we'll just, at this point right here, we'll select our character and zoom in on her. We selected her top there. And let's give her something to talk about. All right, so let's go to Motion and Create Script. It's going to start at frame 395 here. Let's go text to speech. And I've cleverly copied this to my Billboard, or a clipboard, not Billboard. I'm going to press Control V here. This is the text we're going to be using. We're going to use Zira Desktop right here, and you can test it out.
Hi there.
Hi there. Okay, sounds good to me. Go ahead and press OK.
Hi there, and welcome to Med Talk.
And she's going to do the dialogue that you saw at the, or the monologue that you saw at the beginning of the
we explore
tutorial.
All sorts of medical
so
treatments.
What we're going to do now is we're going to focus on camera movement. So let's go to create a camera. At frame 1, I'm going to create a camera, and we're going to move this camera way back up like we had before, somewhere like this, and we're going to have the camera zoom into the character. So let's play back. Med Talk with Christine McDonald. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, and this is where we want to have our camera right in front of the character, probably about right here. So let's go and zoom in on our character to a comfortable position. I think something like this should be okay. Alright, that sounds good to me. We'll keep it right there. And we've just created a camera animation. If we select our camera and press F3 to go into our timeline, you can see we have this camera movement from that transform keyframe to this transform keyframe. And the movement is very linear.
Hi there.
If you want it to change a little bit, let's go ahead and right-click on this keyframe right here. Go to Transition Curve and use an Ease Out. Let's make that ease out a little bit. So if we use Ease Out, it'll be a lot more movement at the beginning. And then as we get closer to our character, or our hostess rather, it's going to just kind of slow down. And you can see right there, it slows down at the very end to a nice stop right there. And the other thing we want to do is have our character look at the camera, obviously. Let's make our billboard invisible right now. Not that one. Where is it? That should be image layer, right? It's an image layer. Okay, make that invisible for now. And I'm going to have our character. We want to begin looking at the camera at about here, I would say. So let's select her at this frame and go down here to look at camera. And with the camera currently selected, she'll begin looking at the camera. And here she'll slowly begin to look at it from there to here. And there we go. Hi there. Okay, so camera movement, part A of camera movement is complete. Now that we have our end camera angle, let's get our lighting correct. So at this point, this is where our main stuff is going to happen at this kind of camera angle. So at this frame 395 is where I want to create my lighting. Now this project has some pretty crappy lighting. It's for like iClone 3 or 4 or something like that. Let's just get rid of everything. We have a directional light right here. If we take that off, you can see the result. Light 02, point light 03, light 04. All right, let's just take all those off, and we can actually delete the 2 point lights at the end there. And what I'm going to do is create a light, and we're going to create a point light. And the point light is going to basically illuminate our background. Let's press the W hotkey, and we can move it around just like this. Let's move it to somewhere above our character like this. Let's switch to our preview camera so we can get a better look at it. And basically, we just want this point light to illuminate the background, to create some lighting for our background. So something like that would be okay. And you can increase the range as well to, adjust the level of lighting in the background right there. And you can see it lights up our character's back nicely as well. Now, the reason I chose point lights here is because point light doesn't cast any shadows. It's just used for kind of like ambient lighting. Now make sure after you've moved it, you right click it and select Move Object Animation. And that's going to keep it at that position, and we can make it invisible. And let's go ahead and create a couple of point lights now, spotlights. So let's go to Create, Light, Spotlight. We have Spotlight 1 right here. We're going to have that spotlight over here, similar to like a 3-point lighting setup. You can catch our tutorial on 3-point lighting if you want to learn more about that. We want to have this spotlight look at our character as well. So let's look at, pick target, and pick our character's head right there. And there we go. That's about a 45-degree angle from our camera if we go directly above it. And let's do another spotlight. Create, Light, Spotlight. And this one, we'll do the same thing. We'll have it on the other side of the camera. If we press the G hotkey, we get a completely overhead orthographic view, by the way. Let's move this one a little bit further away at a 45-degree angle. And also look at, pick target, our character's head. And that's fine. We need to right-click these and remove object animation at this frame because we don't want our lights moving around in the middle of our scenario here. So let's just go down here, and this one obviously needs to be a little bit higher up. Couldn't see that from above, but there we go. Okay. Now let's go to our, I didn't mean to right-click that. Remove object animation. Let's go to our camera here and take a look at our host. Okay, so looking okay. What we can do is we can definitely improve this. So let's go to our visual tab first. And this is where we talk about shadows because we don't actually have any shadows on this scene. So if we select shadow, you can see we get some shadows going on. And we can change our resolution to 4096 from 512 and change that, deepen that opacity. And we get nicer shadows on our character and our background like this. And those lights are casting shadows of our character on this face, on that face as well. So that's fine with me. We won't worry about the shadows right now. Let's increase our soft shadow performance. Let's actually go to our scene manager here, and let's take this spotlight 0 with the 0 in parentheses, and let's decrease the multiplier on this a little bit. Let's change it to a value of like 1, say, and choose a nice warmer color for the skin. So something like maybe something like that, and press OK, and there you go. You get a nice warm look right there. We can decrease the range, and if we decrease the range, you can see the shadow will fade away on the background there as well. So we can use that to our advantage if we want to. I think something like that will be okay. And we have some nice, realistic looking shadows on our model's face. The spotlight over here, we can increase or decrease that range as well. Some results like that. Again, it's a slight balance, but we'll work with that. And again, we need to preview. And every time you do these adjustments, you want to make sure you right-click, Move Object Animation, Move Object Animation. Because these things with green text, they're all keyframeable. And if you move them around at different frames, they're going to animate, which we don't want right now. Okay, I think we're good for lighting. I think we can just make those lights invisible right now. We can make our camera invisible as well if we want. Okay. Let's take a look at what we have so far. Let's go to our camera, and let's go to frame 1. Moving down like this. Oh, we need to make our image layer visible. There we go. Med Talk with Christine McDonald. Just love saying that. All right, and then she begins to talk right here.
And welcome to Med Talk.
Okay, now right here when she says, after she says welcome to Med Talk.
Your host, Christina McDonald. At Med Talk.
At Med Talk, we talk about blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we want a Billboard video to appear, to fade in at this point. So let's go to our folder right here, and we have this banner 02. Let's just bring that in, right-click and drag it in, and import it as a billboard. And then I'm going to align it to Natalie. And I think that, where'd that go? Billboard. Let's make sure we align it to maybe the selector. Okay, there we go. X, Y, and Z. And we can select pivot or center. We'll just select center in this case. And let's move it to where we want it to be. We want it to be a little bit behind her, about this position right here. And for this billboard, we don't want shadow on this billboard. So let's keep our camera angle. We want the billboard to appear at this frame right here. Let's move it back a little bit, our hotkey, and scale it up slightly. We want it to be in like our top right corner there, about right there. I'm going to right click it and remove object animation. And our animation is going to start playing from that point. So let's play back.
We explore all sorts of medical treatments from different areas of medicine for...
Okay, so let's create the camera movement now. So we have the camera, coming down like this.
Hi there, and welcome to Med Talk.
Oh, don't worry about the billboard where it is right now. I'm your host,
Christina McDonald. At Med Talk.
Okay, so at this point here is where we want the camera movement to begin. So I can just, move my camera ever so slightly, something like this. Okay, it's like a little tiny bit, and that's going to create a keyframe. If we select camera, press F3, that's going to create a transform key in my camera movement right here. And then...
Talk. At Med Talk. We explore all sorts of...
Okay, so maybe about right here is where we want it to, eventually be in our new position. So let's go to here, whoops, and let's use a frame like this. Doesn't matter what angle we have, notice the billboard will always be facing our camera. So we can do something cool like this. Get a nice kind of a side angle, if we want like this, and have our billboard there on the side. I think that looks okay. So we'll go ahead and work with that.
McDonald. At Med Talk, we explore all sorts of medical treatments.
Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to have our billboard obviously invisible at the beginning. So let's select our billboard, go to opacity, and just take that opacity down to 0. And then playback, or we'll scrub through, just save time. And
I'm your host, Christina McDonald. At Med...
When she says at Med Talk, let's change the opacity to 1, and then go to here, and change the opacity to 100. And that's where our background comes in. So we'll have something like this.
Christina McDonald. At Med Talk, we explore all sorts of medical treatments from different areas of medicine.
Fades in nicely. And if we don't want the shadow on that billboard, like I mentioned before, let's actually zoom in a little bit here on the billboard. Now let's move this a little bit further up so it fades in a little bit nicer. Okay. And we don't want the shadow on the billboard, so you can see the shadow right here. We don't want that. So let's select this little doodad here under billboard item and go to no shadows. And then the shadows will all disappear. All right? So we can do something like that.
We explore all sorts of medical treatments from different areas of medicine for...
And say, for example, we wanted the video to start at that heart rate monitor instead of the DNA strand. Let's go and press, with our billboard selected, let's go to our video track right here. And if we zoom out, we can go down to the billboard tracks right here. You can see it starts right here. Now, what I want is, say, for example, I wanted it to start at this point. I want it to start at this point right here. And we're going to have to move that billboard back again as well. But say, for example, I wanted the video to start at this point where it fades in. So let's click our mouse on that playhead area right there. Click and drag it to there. And now, when it fades in, it's going to start at that heart rate monitor section right there. We explore all sorts
of medical treatments from different areas.
Okay, so that's pretty cool, and that's how you can, modify that. It starts like that, and then we'll have the fade out after this blood vessel. So we also want to make sure it's a little bit further back, because she starts to move back as she's talking. So up here, let's move it back to about there. We'll have to increase the size. Again, this is all about getting the positioning and everything right. There we go. That looks fine. And then right-click, remove object animation. So it's going to remain at that point. And then at this frame as well, we can change our opacity, take it down to like 99. It's going to create an opacity keyframe. And at the end of the video, opacity goes back down to 0. All right, so once we've taken care of all that, we'll have a result like this. We have a nice camera zoom in with our title screen popping up with Christine McDonald, and goes away and she begins to talk.
Hi there, and welcome to Med Talk.
And
I'm your host, Christina McDonald.
We'll have the,
at Med Talk,
over-the-shoulder
we explore all sorts of medical treatments from different areas of medicine for a variety of illnesses.
And the billboard is still facing
in this
our camera.
episode, we'll discuss THC.
All right, so that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We've done some lighting, we've done some camera work, we've done some scene setup. We've done basically a little bit of everything here, and that's kind of what I wanted to achieve in this tutorial. Just kind of trying to show you an example of how quick you can do this in basically like less than 20 minutes here to create your own scene like this, your own intro scene, using resources that you have available. So thanks so much for watching. Check out the forums at forum.reallusion.com, and I'll see you in the next video.